Undisturbed, he sat down on the chair in the corner of his bedroom, forced himself to remain calm and keep his voice steady. "Sis, where's Mark? Can I talk to him?"
"Nee, he's sleeping. Plus, I didn't tell him I was going to call you. This is Laura's phone."
"Okay, is Laura there?" Laura was an old friend. They'd all grown up together. She, like him, had left the Amish faith, eventually marrying a deputy in the local sheriff's department. But also like him, she hadn't wanted to remove her Amish ties and live completely among the English. Laura was a close friend to all of them.
Yeah."
"Put her on the phone, Nita," he said gently. As he heard the phone switch hands, he attempted to pull himself together, but really all he felt was numb.
"Calvin,"
Laura said at last.
"Hey."
"Hey, Juanita told me about Mark's diagnosis. Have you seen the paperwork? Did you talk to this Dr. Hannah?" He bit out in a rush, hardly able to think clearly. Taking another deep breath, he continued, "Have you talked to Mark?"
"I talked to both the doctor and Mark. The doctor's very sure, Calvin. Mark has renal cell carcinoma in his right kidney," she said slowly, the strain in her voice coming across like a taut wire. "They want to schedule an operation as soon as possible, like next week. Can you be there?"
"Of course."
Making the decision, he got to his feet.
"I'll leave tomorrow morning."
"Thanks." Lowering her voice, she said, "Mark and Nita are going to need your help."
"That's good, because I want to help. Tell Juanita that I'll see her in the early afternoon."
"I'll do that."
He heard Laura murmur something to Juanita and seemed to move into another room.
"Calvin, I need to ask. Are you going to bring trouble here?"
He knew what she was asking. As far as she, Mark, Juanita, and the rest of the world knew, he was still involved in a gang and still did a lot of things that were illegal or brought on trouble of one kind or another. "Hope not," he said, purposely keeping his tone light as he strode into the kitchen to get a glass of water.
"You hope not?" Her voice rose. "Calvin, if your being here is going to bring your gun-toting, drug-running friends too, then you need to stay away," she hissed. "Actually, you should tell—"
He cut her off. "Gun-toting, drug-running friends," he said with a forced laugh. "You make me sound like some kind of old-time gangster. Have you been watching black and white movies on TV again?"
"Don't joke about this," she replied in a steely voice. "You might be pretending that I'm as naive as half the population of Horse Cave, Kentucky, but we both know that ain't me. I'm serious. You can't bring your problems and bad habits to your brother's doorstep."
As he filled his glass with water from the tap, he found himself wishing again that he could tell someone, anyone, what he was really up to. But because that wasn't possible, he kept his reply light. "Nothing's going to happen. Settle down before you get Juanita wound up. Everything's going to be fine." Before she could go off on him again, he decided it was time to end the call. "Don't forget to remind Nita that I'll be there tomorrow. Bye." Calvin hung up before Laura could reply or give him another warning. After tossing his phone on the counter, he drained his glass, then filled it up again. As he slowly set the glass on the counter, he was smiling to himself. Yeah, that's what he was drinking now when he got stressed out. Tap water. He wasn't sure if Laura would have been more shocked than relieved to see that he was no longer enjoying shots of tequila or a six-pack of beer when things got stressful. It hadn't been easy, but he had cleaned himself up. Well, at least in private. Out in public, though? That was a different story. His reputation depended on him being filled with vices and excuses. "Cal?" A voice called from the outside hallway, followed by 2 heavy raps on his door. Calvin grabbed his phone and crossed the room, taking his time to get his head back where it needed to be. He couldn't show weakness. He couldn't allow anyone to see an inkling of fear or worry, any strain in his eyes. He stopped, stood up straighter, exhaled, then pulled open the door. "What? Boss wants you, Cal." Jenk, one of the men he'd been standing in the alley with, said. Stepping closer, he peered into his apartment. "What's going on? You sure took off quick when you got that phone call." Grinning, he said, "You got